G'day, mate. This is a story about my previous life as Ronald Speckleton, the 1100s magician. You see, in the 1100s, there was this man named Ronald Speckleton, who, to a lot of people, was a real joker, right from the tender age of 1. He's the son of Peter and Prue Speckleton, who were too bloody realistic. And in those days, realistic was a big thing, with no TV and all. Robert through every day of his thought Robert through every day of his life teasing his mum and dad with silly little practical jokes. He also put cuffs on his hands and said the police have me in their horse and cart. And can you save me, mummy and daddy? And then said the bush rangers have me kidnapped in their cave. Save me. And his father got out the snippers, and boy was he angry. But Ronald was having fun doing this, and yes, it was under his parents' expense. Ronald joined the stagecoach road trips to try and be noticed, and everyone laughed at his jokes, thinking he was a funny dude. He was a good magician for 5 generations. All of Ronald's friends thought of Ronald as being a fun-loving guy who loves the world of magic, and Ronald would do clown shows to all of his chums, and all the kids and members of the general public loved him. Ronald tried to pull a rabbit out of the hat. It never worked. And the crowd yelled, "Boo, hiss! Boo, hiss! Boo, hiss!" And Ronald's friends and parents said it's over, but it was fun while it lasted. Ronald was determined Ronald was determined to make this magic happen. And then his friends said, "How about if you can put on a regular show for the king?" And Ronald's best friend, Rosalind Reason, said, was given the title of girl being cut in a box. You see, Rosalind would get in the box and Ronald would put swords in the box and yell, "Abracadabra!" and Rosalind walks away unharmed. And the townsfolk who don't believe in magic. And then Rosalind Reason and Brendan Shorts were dragged by Ronald down to the sea, where Ronald tied them up and threw them in the lake and yelled out, "Abracadabra!" But they never escaped, because there was no such thing as magic. Both these kids died. When Ronald's parents found out about the body in the box experiment, they drove their stagecoach away from his weird life, saying, "Ronald, both these kids died." When Ronald's parents found out about the body, and Ronald isn't ready, and they moved into this town where everyone liked Ronald except for the bully, who hated Ronald because he was Brendan Shorts' little brother. Ronald was determined to get these tough kids to like him, so he showed him his magic tricks. But Brendan's brother said, "He will tie you up and leave you in the ocean." And Ronald said, "How about we play a game called Tie the Bully Up?" And as Ronald tried to touch Brendan's brother, he said, "Get off me, you little freak." And the next day, Ronald and all his chums were watched by a weird predator who has plans to lock them all in his old-fashioned dungeon. And then at the stroke of midnight, Ronald and all his chums who were tied up in a stagecoach and driven to the Mount Georgia volcano, as hot as a giant oven, and Ronald escaped from the stagecoach just as they stopped. And because there were only 2 people who were driving in it, so Ronald ran back up the road and Ronald arrived at his parents' den, saying the other kids were thrown into the volcano. And that Christmas, when Ronald turned 12, a man dressed up as Santa kidnapped and murdered Ronald and cut Ronald's head off and threw him to the sharks. And the head was being brought to the stern of the ship. And I believe the only thing that died in Ronald was the body. His soul will be passed on to each earth body year by year. Now he should in his latest life. Me. Totally cool, dude. And that was a story about a kid who thought he was so cool by doing so many terrible feats to people. Bad things can happen to it. Now, of course, people don't die. They just go to another life, and that's about as far as they go. But, okay, so let's just